For today's cup of coffee, we're going to be discussing some family myths and legends, and a little bit of a viewer warning. If you have not eaten your breakfast, or if you have a weak stomach, you might want to skip this cup or wait till a little bit later in the day, because we are going to be talking about some rather unsavory things. No pun intended. My grandmother, when I was growing up, we call them buzzards around here. I know that some of these people in different areas, they're like all buzzards are vultures, but not all vultures are buzzards. And then you had some that got very upset if somebody called a vulture a buzzard. Well, for those people, come here to the mountains. You'll be upset about a lot of things that we say here. Anyhow, my grandmother, when we would see the buzzards circling, she's like, "Don't look up at them. They'll vomit on you." And I'm like, "What?" And she's like, "Yeah, don't look at them." And so until I was older, and I'm like, what is the truth of that? Now, I have never heard of anybody being barfed on by a vulture or a buzzard or anything like that. So it was a matter of going back into I'm in perpetual nerd mode. But some of the things I found out here, and we do have these that are the turkey buzzards, or what we call them, and they're huge, and they are frightening. So that very much goes along with scary and spoopy and everything like that. These animals actually do vomit on things as self-defense, and this one said that they could, vomit as far as 10 feet. Now that's kind of horrifying, but from what I understood, that was not from while they're flying, so that's a good thing. They also defecate on their feet, because their stomach acid is so acidic. It is almost at the 0 level on the pH scale, that it kills the bacteria on the feces, kills the bacteria on their feet where they've been walking through carcasses and dead things and all that stuff. So, yeah, it's a wonderful way to start your morning, isn't it? But let's see, they actually can do a whole lot of damage to, now I've seen them on houses and stuff in the little town near us, but they can do a tremendous amount of damage as far as anything that's plastic. They can eat at people's cars, as far as the rooftops, it says caulking, other exterior surfaces, and just nastiness. And they do say that these things stink. When they do barf, well, it's dead stuff. So yeah, it's like House of 1,000 Corpses there. So lots of really disgusting things about vultures. And hang on just a second. This was interesting because this website, and I will include the websites for you so that you can go look at these things. They've got like this fake buzzard, and that you can feed them like baking soda things, and then it was like mimic barfing. And this was to amuse the children's. No, I don't think my children's has ever been amused by anything like that. But in here they were talking on this one about the gastric pH, and that it's between 0 and 1, and says it's the most corrosive of all vertebrates, and that the human stomach, the pH on that is anywhere from 1 to 3. So battery acid is 0.8. So the vulture stomach is less than that, so that's kind of horrifying. It says that it is so strong that it can dissolve metal. I don't know how long it would take for it to dissolve metal. How much barf, how much time. So that's a good question for you. And the reason that the acid has to be that strong is so that it can digest things infected with, let's see, botulism, rabies, hog cholera, anthrax. Now, can you imagine that there's a creature that will eat that? Now, let's see what we can find here. Give me just a second. Here we go. Now, what you can catch from these things. It says that the droppings, not only are they large, I didn't need to know that. Anyhow, it says that the bacteria and fungal agents and parasites found in the droppings and the nest can carry a host of serious diseases, including histoplasmosis, encephalitis, salmonella, meningitis, and once again the toxoplasmosis. It's been a couple of days for the Toxoplasma gondii, hasn't it? So, yeah, I guess that my grandmother, she was right to a degree. And I don't know, I just assume to avoid the vultures and or buzzards. And I don't usually look up directly when they are flying overhead. So if you all have family legends, paranormal, supernatural, UFOs, Bigfoot sightings, if you've got interesting experiences with alternate realities with or without substances, and if you just need somebody to listen to you, send me an email at cupofcoffeewithscream@gmail.com. Get you another cup of coffee, clear your palate, and you all have a beautiful, blessed day.